Hey there, everybody. Sorry I took a minute and before I realized, oh my gosh, I didn't turn the screen around. My name is Barb Ryder. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. If you're here for the first time, well, welcome and thank you for joining me this Thursday evening. Hello, Sue. Who else is here? I see a few of you. Anyway, I'm here to share some different kind of, well, some layouts, first of all, and using some, we're going to do Spotlight on Nature. This is a current stamp set. It's a current bundle, actually, that you can order. It's not on the last chance list right now, so it's readily available. And I know that some of the, what do I want to say? So many times I get ready to do something and something is sold out in it. April is a very hard month, kind of a month where you're not sure what's going to be left and what's still available because of the last chance list. Hello, Diana. Welcome. Hi, June. Thanks for being here. So so here's a little information before we get started, I guess. So we kind of redid the my area, my downstairs, my area where I have my in-person classes. I still do in-person classes once a month. I have a monthly team meeting we do in person, and then I will have one or two classes I'll throw in there sometimes in the month. Okay. So anyway, I had a bunch of stuff to be packed up. I had a bunch of stuff to go through. And in that process, it made me come across some oldies, well, something that we had a long time ago. And if you have them in your possession as a previous demonstrator, or maybe you got them as a hostess but from someone at one point. Anyway, we're going to use those tonight. So with that being said, I'm looking to make sure that I am here. Um, this doesn't make sense. Okay, there we go. Hi. Okay, yeah, now I've got the right thing that's showing up. Okay, there we go. Crazy stuff. All right, let me turn the camera down, and I also want to show you this another beautiful Easter card that I got. So give me a second. Let me turn down the camera. Welcome, everybody. If you're joining me on YouTube, give me a shout out that you're there. You're watching the replay. If you're watching the replay here, thanks for joining me. Glad that you're here. Okay, let's go to here. Okay, so I got this beautiful, let me turn this down a little bit, give us some more light down here so it's not showing all up in the camera. Just a little adjustment here, girls, guys, whoever's watching. There. Okay, this came from my friend Donna, or my team member. She's down in Kentucky, but look at this. So I had made a card and I got one as a Easter card. Anyway, I had shared this particular card on one of my Thursday videos where you write on the back. Okay, so that one, and so it's a pop-up and it stands up. I got this one, excuse me, and I had not seen this design before where it's flat. Okay, and what she did is, let me make sure I'm stay in the camera. Um, she put that on the front, and this is so this piece that is, turn it the right way. This fold over piece is part of the front of the card. Okay, so regular 8.5, 5.5. Then you fold this piece over, and then she cut a separate piece, and then that's how she made the cross. It's so gorgeous. See the design on that? Um, Beautiful card, Donna. I thought it was just amazing. And then I had shared my swap cards last week, I believe. And this one I got after I'd shared, and this is from Lynn. We did the 5-3-1 challenge, and Very creative. 5 hearts, 3 flowers, and 1 sentiment. Thank you for that, Lynn. All right. So wanted to share those with you. All right. I got a bunch of stuff behind me, so that's why my little help area there. Hi, Bobby. Thank you for sharing. Hello, Ruth. Welcome, everyone. Thanks for being here. Excuse me. Okay, so I had shared that we're going to be using Spotlight on Nature. This is the stamp set that I'm using. And then these are the dies that come in the bundle. I just have them on magnetic sheets here, and they're all different kind of circles. And the reason that I usually like to keep them in my case, but because this can be used for so many other things and it's not exclusive to the images on here, I have them over in my die cut area. So I just keep them in my handy little 6x6 folder here that I had emptied from something else. So that's what we're using. Now, I mentioned that this can be purchased as a bundle. And I wrote these on the inside. So the bundle is a $52, and the number is 163581. You can order the stamp by itself, and that's 163579. And if you just want the dies, the circle dies, they're awesome. 163580, and they're $35. So there's 35 for the dies, 23 for the stamp, 52 for the bundle. I am going to start doing this on all of my stamps, and that way it's readily handy for me and I can get right to it. It works out really good. So, excuse me. All right. So what I had shared was we're going to do something that is inspired a little differently. Now, I want to know, I want you guys to tell me if you remember these, okay? This is an inspiration sheet with the stamp set All the Best. Okay, I don't know, I've got it inside here, but anyway, see there, and it gave little minimal directions. It gave you a little scrapbook idea. This is back when we used to have the scrapbooking stuff. Now scrapbooking is again. So yeah, so we have all the different things. Okay, so I'm going to use this. We're going to use Spotlight on Nature, and we're going to create these 3 cards that they're called In a Snap. So they have In a Snap, and then they have a Step Up on these inspiration sheets. Okay. I would be curious to know how many of you, I'm going to look and see if I can see any comments today. I'm not really seeing comments. I don't know why it's doing that, but let me see here. Sorry guys, give me 1 second. You know, I don't know what happened, but I cannot see comments on my laptop anymore. I don't understand what happened oh, that they can't see that. Okay, well, anyway, excuse me. That's why I have my phone here, and so I can see comments as they come in a little better. So you remember these 2? Yes. So I think I have all of them. If I'm missing any, I don't know. I have this huge book. Let me show you. See this binder? It is all inspiration sheets. All inspiration sheets. I think I have them all. So my goal is to at least once a month share an Inspiration Thursday, which will be an inspiration sheet using new stamp sets, because we have a new catalog coming out on May 6th is when you can order from the new catalog. Today we're going to use Spotlight on Nature. All right, I'm going to move this out of the way. The other part of all of this is, excuse me, when you turn on the back of these inspiration sheets, it gives you the images that are in the stamp set they used. And I think that they give you a list. Yeah, over here they give you a little list of some other stamps that you could use in place of this particular set called All the Best. Now, if you have lots of retired sets, you might be able to, if you have this set all the best, you could just go in and copy this down. Now the only thing is some of these colors are retired, but that's where the inspiration came in. I just took similar colors and created. So here we go. All right. So the first card that we're going to do is the one that says thanks. And so I'm going to pull out what I chose to use compared to what they have. The colors that they used are Mellow Moss, which was retired, Bliss Blue retired, Barely Banana. Those are all retired colors. So I chose to go with Old Olive, Fresh Freesia, and Lemon Lolly. So those, and then I went with vanilla instead of white. So I came up with those to be similar. And let me grab what we need here. So we are going to be using lemon. We're going to be using my Balmy Blue marker and the Old Olives ink pad. And then I just need to grab the stamps we're going to use here. And I'm hoping that we're going to use the butterfly and this speckle. I'm going to show you how that works. And the thanks. Okay, grab what I need out of my little container here. Okay. I'm also using a new ribbon that is going to be available for starting May 6th for purchase. It is the Basic Beige. It's with an amazing suite. All right. But this is so beautiful, this ribbon. So we're going to be using this on the card. All right. The first thing that we're going to do, 8.5 by 11 is the card base. Move these out of my way. Okay, put that to the side. Card base. Now this particular, so here's what we're gonna recreate. Sorry, let me come up here. We're gonna recreate this layout right here. And of course, all that's retired. So we're using all current product to create from those inspiration sheets. So the first thing I'm going to do is, since I have to go off my cardstock here, well, hello, Shar, welcome. We're going to use Old Olive, and I'm going to use the word thanks. And I'm going to ink this up, and this is going to go just repeated in a line across the cardstock. Okay, just like that. And I don't know why I went down at an angle. I don't understand how I do that. I'm gonna do another row so that it doesn't look too, I think this will be covered up, but anyway, it's not too bad. I don't know why I did that. So I'm also going to come here and I'm going to stamp thanks on my little square. And this square, I believe, is 2 by 2. Let's see here. Yep, 2 by 2 vanilla and Old Olive. And I'm going to go up here over to the left a little bit at the bottom and stamp thanks. And let's clean that off. Thanks for sharing. Thank you all for being here. If you're joining us, I appreciate you being here. All right, so there's the thanks. We are going to take our butterfly. We're going to ink up with our markers. And this is, again, Balmy Blue. And so I went with a little different color scheme than what shows on the inspiration sheet, but this is what I wanted. Okay, so Balmy Blue. Using the markers, you just re-moisten, and I'm going to stamp this butterfly like that in the blue. Okay, and then next we're going to take this little yellow, this speckle right here, and we're going to use the lemon lolly. And if you notice the shape of these speckles in the Spotlight on Nature, you're just going to, it will fit in the wings of my butterfly. Okay, so ink that up, and I'm going to fill that in there and ink it up over here. And I'm going to turn it the other way where the fat part is, where the fat part of the wing is, and do that. And so what that does, it gives us the two-tone color for our butterfly there. Can you see the yellow in there? There you go, a little bit. That's what we want. Okay. Okay, did I clean that? No, let's clean it. I don't know if I did or not. It looks wet. Okay, there we go. All right, so we've got the stamping part done. So I'm going to move those out of the way. This is going to get mounted onto 2 1/4 by 2 1/4 lemon lolly. Let's move this out of the way. I don't know about you guys, but I love to find ways to be inspired. Okay, I told a fib. This is not 2 1/4 because this is 1/8 of an inch around. Okay, so I will remeasure this yellow and see what the size is. There we go. Okay, so the lemon lolly to layer the vanilla onto is 2 1/8 by 2 1/8. So just 1/8 of an inch bigger. Okay, so that's what we want. Now, the next thing we're going to do is we have our lemon. I did use markers with these also. We're going to use our lemon lolly. We're going to take this new ribbon that's coming out on May 6th. Now, you can certainly take white ribbon and you can do it, color it that way. But what I'm going to do is this, actually, I have this other piece here that we are going to be going around with the ribbon. This piece is fresh freesia. This is 2 3/4 by 4 1/4. Okay. Right now, I just want to make sure that I have enough ribbon that comes around here and I can tie a knot. So I'm just measuring that out, and this is what I'm just going to measure it here, and I know that probably about right there gives me enough so that I can tie a knot around the project. Okay, but first thing I'm going to do, we're going to color this ribbon. Okay, and it turns out beautiful with the beige. It's a basic beige ribbon, and I am going to color it with the brush tip end of my lemon lolly, and it colors so easy. Now you could do this with your blends also, but basically I'm just going to come in here and lay down my brush tip, and I'm just going to swipe this across my ribbon, making sure I've got it colored all the way. Okay, just so that there. Now I'm going to turn it this way to stay on my paper, and I'm just going to, like I said, it's so fast and easy. It dries really quick. I just want to make sure that I have it all. There's a spot there. Now, once I have it colored, see it's yellow on that side. I'm going to turn it over, and let's just swipe the other side so that when I tie the knot, you won't be able to see that it was actually a beige ribbon. It looks gorgeous in this lemon lolly. Okay. And you can do this with any color marker, any color blend. You can color this ribbon. But look at that. Isn't that turns out so pretty? And if you're afraid it's not dry, just take it and fan it for a second because it's going to dry pretty quickly. That's what I found anyway when I created my sample. All right, so there's my ribbon. So the next thing I'm going to do is I want to add this onto my fresh freesia here. And this is flat, so let's do that. And in the sample, or in the inspiration sheet, you can see it's at an angle. So that's what we're going to do. Let's go ahead and put this down at an angle, kind of like that. All right, move this out of the way. See, I think you can see better when I don't have all the mess happening behind. So now we're going to take this ribbon, and that's going to go across the front and just tie that in a knot. Okay, get my fingers going here. And once this, and also the other thing to know is that when you use your marker and you use it to color the ribbon, it will actually dry a little bit lighter than what you have done. Okay, or the color that you've put on initially. Okay, so there's that. Now, of course, I've got way on one side compared to the other, so let me just trim that out so that it matches up and is not frayed. There, okay. All right, so there's what we have. Now, the next thing is we want to rip this so that we have an angle going this way. But the trick is we want to make sure that kind of feathery look is facing us on the outward edge. So I am right-handed, so I'm going to rip towards me to create this feathery look. And if I come up here, you should be able to see how it gives you that kind of feathery look right there. That's what I want. And then I'm just going to kind of come up at an angle, give it an angle like that. And now we're ready to place this on our card. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put this on with dimensionals. So this is our first layout from these old retired inspiration sheets. So if you have them, go find them and be inspired by what they have to offer. Okay, so there's that. And let's put this down. It's the same kind of thing when I get swaps, and I keep that layout of a swap for a long time because I really loved what I had. You know, I love that swap. That's just going to go in the middle of the card. Now, on the inspiration sheet, you can see they don't have any gems. Let me see if I can get that glare out of there. There's no gems on there. But I decided to add gems. So let me find them. What did I do with them? Oh, I put them back over here in the... And I chose to use the antique pearls, and I'm excited to say these are carrying over. They're nice and flat, but they're a color that can go with so many things. So let's put a couple of those on. Let's take a little one and let's see here. Let's put one there. Now the other part that is about these antique gems is that are pearls is that there's 3 sizes in them. So, and I've got some extras of that size, so I'm just going to put one right there. All right, so I just added the gems on there. So that was my extra twist from that particular layout. So that's card number 1 from the inspiration sheet. Let's put that here. Okay. So I had, here's the one I created to see how this would work. But there you go. I love the idea of those speckles inside the butterfly. Had you guys thought about that in this set? I had not. So, all right, so there's that one. All right, let's go with the second card. Again, it is a green one, and this is the layout, but this is what we're doing. So let me grab the layout. Here is the layout, and it's using leaves, but it's using the ripped paper technique. So to me, this ripped paper is one of the techniques that we used a lot when we were new demonstrators and we didn't have all the dies and all the things. So we used the, hi Jan, thank you Ruth. So we used texture because we didn't have dies at that point. So we're going to be using the old olive again. And let me grab my goodies for this card. And again, this one is the old olive instead of Mossy Meadow. No, not Mossy Meadow. Mellow Moss was the color in the inspiration sheet. And Bliss Blue and Barely Banana. Those were the three colors. Oh, and then they used this purple was I couldn't find it. I was looking for it and I could not find it. And I think I looked back here and the lavender lace. That's what they used here. So that's the old lavender lace. Sorry about the glare. That's the old lavender lace. So that's the four colors that they put together here. All right, let's take this. Here's all my parts and pieces. We'll go over those in a second. All right, so let's grab the leaf. All right. And again, I looked at my stamp sets to see, okay, what can I come up with that will kind of look like this inspiration sheet. So all I'm going to do is do tone on tone here. This is the Old Olive. Okay. And I'm just randomly stamping on the card base. And again, this card base is just normal 8.5 by 5.5, and that is scored at 4.25. There we go. Okay, so that's good. All right, now I'm going to grab my vanilla. This size is 2.25 by 3. This one is 2.25 by 3. So it's going to go long, and let's stamp our leaf. And I'm just going to kind of stamp it at an angle and get it all on here, just like that. And it's okay if it goes off the edge. I want to make sure my leaf on the bottom didn't go off of the page. So how can I get the inspiration sheet? Jan, there are retired. And the only way that I could do an inspiration sheet is to scan it and email it to you. That would be the only way that I could get an inspiration sheet to anybody, because I don't have extras anymore. I just found my big book and went from there. If I come across more inspiration sheets as I'm going through more of my stuff with all the change I have going on and stuff with the new craft area and all that, then I would be happy to send you one, Jan. Okay, so there's that. Now, I am going to go ahead and take this crosshatch. There's a crosshatch in the whole bunch here too. Let's take that and let's fill in. It doesn't show any other fillers, like I said, in that inspiration sheet, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm inking up and then stamping off because I don't want it to be darker than my leaves. I just kind of want to fill in some of the open spots. Okay, that's pretty good. Okay, there's that. So I'm going to put that over there to clean. All right, now I'm done with the green. Can you, I don't know, can you see those little crosshatch there a little bit? There you go, you can see it. Cool. All right, so there's that. Here's this piece. We are going to go ahead with our lemon lolly, and we need another piece of this ribbon because I'm going to go ahead and tie this around into a knot. So let me just guess how much of that I need. About right there. Okay. Again, all you do, super easy, and it dries very fast. Either with the blends or with your markers, it's going to dry fast. Okay. Let's do that, and then pull it down here and color this side and then this side in the middle. Flip it over and then just do the same. Just make sure that your edges, I think the edges is what I found, where the seam is on the edge, seem to not catch the color as well. Okay, so there's that. Okay, and I'm just gonna shake it and dry it a little bit. Okay. All right, let's take this. And we're gonna go ahead and tie this around the top. And again, make that little knot. Hi, Taryn. You'd be interested in them also, Ruth. Ruth, if you would please, whoever, if anybody's interested, like I said, I can scan this inspiration sheet as a PDF, and I can email it to you. So you need to make sure that you're on my email list. And there's a link. You can go up to my website and you can click the contact me, and then you can fill that out. Okay. Or click the link that is showing up. It should show up. I'm not sure. I think there should be a link where you can go and sign up for my to get emails from me. Okay. All right, so there's that. Let's cut this so that it works better. Fits better rather. There we go. Pretty. Okay, now here's the fun part, the ripping. I've already ripped these two colors. I have this blue, and I only want it to be about there. It's just an extra length, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna start my ripping it by taking off the biggest part. And I cut these a little too small, so I really have to pinch and just cut little or rip little pieces because I don't want it much smaller than my inch size. I would say if you're going to do this, you should cut these to 1.5 inches in width. And then I would say, oh, what is that? Let me take this measurement. Um, two, let's see, the 2.25, 3, I would say at least 3 inches or even 4 inches, and rip it to do this technique. But if you don't want to pinch it so close, like I'm having to just take my fingernail and pinch it, because I cut it so small. Anyway, hi Leanne. All right, let's get this. So I'm gonna, and again, I'm pinching towards me because I like that kind of, you know, feathery kind of look. Um, so let's get that going. All right, so you can see how close I ripped that. It's very skinny. So I would suggest cutting your pieces, your strips bigger than that, just because, yeah, it's hard with your fingers. So, all right, now here's what we're doing. We're gonna go ahead and we are gonna put adhesive right in the middle here of each of these, making sure my little feathery side is up because that's what I want to show. There's that. And there. Okay. Okay. So let's put the blue down here at the bottom. And I actually think I have a little extra on the one side. So I'm going to rip a little more off of here. Okay. It's a little wider than it should be. All right. The next we have the fresh freesia. And again, the old color that they used was lavender lace. And then they use barely banana, but we are using lemon lolly because that's what the closest thing to barely banana is. See how it's way too big? So I'm gonna pinch a little more of that off too. All right, fabulous. Very pretty, super easy, but there you go. Now let's put this on with dimensionals also. And where did I put those? Over here. Um, So yeah, if you're joining me later, this video is an inspiration from old inspiration sheets that we used to get to hand out for us to create items, for us to give to hostesses. They would come in packages, a little package. And at one point back in the day, when we had hostess parties, I would take them and I would give them as hostess gifts. All right, so this is just going to kind of go, should it go there? I think it should kind of go on this side. I'm going to go on I don't know which side I want. I guess we'll go on this side. All right, just like that. There is card number 2. And again, when I bring this back in here, this is the layout. And here is my, this is my version using current stamp set, Spotlight on Nature. And there's their version. So again, I'm going to go ahead and add these antique gems. They go perfect. So let's grab a big one and let's go right here. Let's get a little one, because these do come, like I said, they come in the 3 different sizes, and then the medium, let's bring that right over here. Okay, so there we are. That's card number 2, using the inspiration sheet from long ago. Okay, awesome. There we go. Card number 3. I saved the, this one has a little twist to it. And this is the layout we're going to do next. Sorry about that light. I'm trying to do it so it's okay. All right, so let's grab, we have the card base is Lemon Lolly, and our inside pieces, I have cut a piece of Balmy Blue that is 3 by 5.5. I have cut a vanilla, same size, 5.5 by 3. However, I think I need to cut this down a tad. I've got to cut this down. Oh wait, yeah, I need to cut this down. I need to cut it down. Okay, so if that's 3, I need to come down 2.25. I'm gonna come down to 2.25. Okay, that was just a little bit too wide. Length won't matter at this moment. Okay, and you'll see why in a second. Okay. All right, so you got to have the vanilla to layer onto here. Now I have taken some pieces, and you can see that I've cut them at an angle, and that's because that's what it looks like on the sample. It doesn't tell you to cut them at an angle, but I'm following the picture. I'm look at the picture and make it, you know. Thanks, Shar. And then the Lemon Lolly. So these are the colors we have. So the first thing we're going to do is let's go ahead and we are going to do our stamping. Okay, I'm going to lay those up there for a moment. These strips are 1 inch, and then I just cut a little bit of an angle, cut them at an angle. All right, we need the blue and the green of what we, so we're going to use Balmy Blue markers on this one, and our Old Olive. We're going to be using our main flower because the sample in this one is the main flower from the stamp set, that this one right here. And let's go ahead. Let's do our Balmy Blue, and that's for the 3 blooms that we have in here. Okay, so yeah, this tonight's live is a little different. I've never done anything quite like this tonight, using an old inspiration sheet to come up with new, using current product. So I hope that this is something that will inspire you to see if you have these from the past. Another thing that I found, which was super cool, are like my old monthly Stampin' Success magazines that we used to get with lots of color pictures and ideas. That was a great tool to stamp with. Okay, come up with ideas, I guess. All right, so let's go ahead. We need to huff on this since it was markers, and then we're going to stamp. Alrighty, let's get this about right like that. And markers work so nice on the cling stamps. All right, so there's our image. Looks like I didn't get quite enough there, but that's okay. It still looks like it's supposed to. All right, now here's the trick. We want to cut this at an angle because if you look, you can see this is kind of angled on the sides. Can you see that? The sides. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, I'm going to take my trimmer. It's already smaller than my balmy blue, but I'm going to take this and I'm going to go right from here and we're going to cut this off at an angle. Okay? I hope that makes sense. So I'm just going to give it a slight angle and see there. See how I've cut this at an angle there? Okay. Now we're going to take this one or the other side and we're going to do the same thing. So what I'm doing is putting my point into my cutting groove to get that angle. So there's that. And then I'm going to take this and angle it. Let's see, is that right? No, I want to come this way. So there we go. I want to make sure that I'm angling this the right way so the angle comes up correctly. I might cut the tip of my flower off, but that's okay. It's just going to have to be that way. Very, very tiny bit. Okay. Now I'm going to come down here and I am going to cut off some of this. Actually, I'm going to cut a little bit at the top. Yep, I'm going to cut a little bit of this off at the top. Okay. And then let's cut this off. So this is the hardest card. I think this is the hardest card because you need to cut this part at an angle. No big deal though. All right, let's come down about right there. Let's line that up. Okay. So we have this fun angle. Okay. And what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to glue it onto the balmy blue. Then we're going to cut that at an angle. Okay. But I did want to start off with it being a little bit smaller than the blue. So let's see. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Hope that makes sense. So let me show you what we're going to do next. And I just kicked off my, there it is. Okay. So let's take this and we just need to have a little bit of an edging here. So about right there, I think, gives us that little bit that we need. Now I'm going to take this and I'm just going to follow the vanilla. So I want to cut from here up to the point just to give the line. So get a little blue there and there. All right, I think that's right. Ooh, it's always scary, but I did it. Okay, now we're going to go from this angle up to this point. Right like that. You can always do this with scissors if you feel like you're not going to make it work with the cutter. You can do it with scissors. And there we go. Now look, I can get a hold of it. Now we have this great angle. That's what shows in the sample is the angle. All right. Okay, let's get all this out of the way. And then we're going to go to the next step, which is to put this together. Okay, so this piece, these pieces are going to be glued onto here. Now, let me just take a quick look. These are bigger than what I need. So I'm just going to cut these by hand, you know. Let's see. We've got a blue. And what I'm going to do here is I'm actually just going to eyeball what I need to cut. uh, no big deal. All right, there's one. And let's see here. How's that work? Yep, that's gonna work. Okay. And then the other blue is down at the bottom. So let's go here and eyeball to cut right there. All right. And so next, what I'm going to do is just take these and actually I'm going to go the opposite way. That way I don't have to measure it on the sheet. Okay. So let's do that. And last but not least, let's do this one. Okay, now we're ready. All right, so the yellow is a little wider. That's going to go there. Let's do this right here. That's going to come up here. No, I think I'm going to bring that down here. This kind of goes that way. All we're doing is creating this cool background on the back, on the vanilla. And then this is going to go on here. Okay. So you can see that this comes out to fit right on that vanilla. That was my goal. All right, so let's take this and get this down. And who else joined? Hello, hello. If you just joined us, thanks for being here. Okay, so there's blue and green. And again, it does not have to be perfect, perfectly matching up, I guess, because they are kind of angled a little bit. And there's so many things you could do with this. You could make this to be designer paper. You could use designer paper in here. This yellow is a little bit too big, so I got to cut this off a little more. There. Okay. That would be really cool. I just kind of went with what was on the inspiration sheet. And let's see. There's that. This is actually going to go on after we use this basic beige ribbon. And all I'm going to do here is I'm going to take this ribbon. I'm going to put a little adhesive on the back. I'm going to keep it beige this time. We're going to lay that down there. And I'm going to bring this down to here. And I'm going to cut off, use my ribbon scissors. Those are my paper scissors. Let's cut a piece off here so that I have enough. And it shows in the inspiration sheet just to tie a knot at the very bottom. So just a different kind of design, something with the ribbon instead of always doing a bow. And that's just going to come, and I'm going to take a little bit of adhesive, kind of hold it down right there, like that. Okay. All right, it's kind of long. I'm gonna tighten it so it comes up a little bit. There we go. And let me trim that a little more so that I don't have that really long piece. Okay, there we go. All right, let's take some dimensionals and pop this up, and almost done. There we go. And come off of there. And one more. Throw this in the trash. And this is going to go like right like that. Get my hair, get up here. I kind of cut that one a little bit too far down. That's okay. All right, so there's what we have. Now we're ready to add this to the front of our card, just like that. And of course, we're going to add those gems, even though, you know, back in the day of the inspiration sheets, okay, what I'm using right now for the inspiration of these cards, the eyelets were the big deal. You guys remember that? Hammer, hammer, hammer. Oh my gosh. Do you guys remember that? I was hitting my ring on the on here. Yeah, tap, 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 hammering those eyelets in like grommets. That was a fun time, right? So, spotlight on nature with a whole new twist using the old inspiration sheets. Let's grab these gems and put some of those on here. Alrighty, let's see. We got one to go here and one to go here. And let's see, let's get how about a little one here, I guess. And let's bring that. Should we bring that here? I don't know. I stamped it a little bit different on my other sample, and I'll show you, but I guess we'll just kind of go there. And there is the third card. All right. So, what do you think? There's card number 3. Here is my sample that I came up with when I tried it. So what happened is it looks, so I must have cut my, this came out a little bigger. See that one? It came out a little bit longer, I think, and more narrow. I don't know how I did that, but I did. Oh, I don't know. Anyway, oh, I know why. Because I kept more white at the top, or the vanilla at the top, than I did here. That's probably why. All right. So there's that one. Here is the second card that we did with the inspiration sheet. And here is the third card that we did with the inspiration sheet. Okay, what do you think? So, spotlight on nature. And here's the 3 designs from our old inspiration sheet. I'm going to look to see. I don't know if there's a date on here. It says 2004. So in November, I'll be a demonstrator for 25 years. And this was from 2004. So there you go. So cool. And yeah, love it. What do you think about that? Would you guys like to see a monthly inspiration sheet live? Thanks, Sue. Like this card with the angles. Yeah, that one is the I think that's the most, that one's the harder of the 3, I thought. Who else is here? Like this card with, okay. All right. Awesome. So that's what I have for you tonight. I'm going to look at some more with some of the new stamp sets that are coming out with the new catalog. I think I found some inspiration sheets that will go really well with some of those new stamps that are coming our way. Something old to new to do. Yes, good deal. I'm glad you look at it like that, Shar. That's what I thought. I thought, oh, this is kind of cool. Something different. And we're kind of in the month that is really hard to figure out, what do I do? What's still in stock? All those kind of things. I'm looking for my pen here, my pin to hold my ribbon, but I can't find it. Anyway, there you go. You guys, I am so glad that you decided to join me for this fun evening. Bringing something old with the new, as they said. Can you still get Thoughtful Wishes bundle? I couldn't find it. Oh, no, Bobby. I think Thoughtful Wishes, the ones that I shared last week, I do think that I don't know if it's the dies or the stamp set, but I believe that it's gone. If you try to put in a number, here is something. Let me go ahead and turn the camera around and talk to you guys for a moment here. Let me move this there. If you go to key in a product number and it says it doesn't come up, that means it's gone. Okay. If you put in a product number and it comes up, there should be a red that says currently unavailable. That means it's coming back. Okay. So when you're looking at the items in the online store, that is your cue that, okay, it must be on the coming back list. If you are a demonstrator, you can look on your demonstrator website and you can see in the inventory when it's supposed to be back in. If you don't have anything come up at all with the number, that does mean that it is gone. It is no longer available and sold out. So, all right. I was just looking at the comments here. All right. That's the thing. In April, it's a hard month. It's just a hard month, not knowing what's still going to be available and not. So I think what's happened is with the online exclusives, we had a launch of online product come out in March, and those are available. So that is something we know that's there. We know we can go and purchase it. The kits, there's a lot of kits. And by the way, if you're a Paper Pumpkin subscriber, there is a 75 up to 75% off some of the past kits that you can go in and purchase on the online store. You have to do a filter to look for Paper Pumpkin or kits, and Paper Pumpkin will come up. So there's that going on, and free shipping through tomorrow. So as a demonstrator, take advantage of getting that cardstock and adhesive and things that you know that you're going to be using, designer paper that's carrying over that you want to keep, things like that. Get those things with the free shipping while you can. Okay. So I hope that all of this makes sense tonight with what I did, and that you'll give it a try if you have any of those sheets. Um, but yeah, I might once a month do an inspiration sheet live with a new stamp set, taking those layouts from the past. See what you think. Okay, I'm all done for tonight. It's 8 o'clock, or just about 8 o'clock. Thank you for being with me. I hope that you learned a little trip here and there. If you're a new stamper, I appreciate you being here, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have. Just give me an email. You can contact me via text per my website. You can see my number and everything there. But you can also shop right up here at my website and use the link. That way it goes directly to my store, okay? The link that I have in the description of the live video. Okay, guys, I'm just looking at the comments. They're over here on the side. I can't see them on my laptop. So have a wonderful night. I will see you soon, and many blessings. Bye-bye.